Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. We have some special guests on the line right now, representative for the King's Run. We have Sharon and we have Sean Jenkins on the line. Good morning, guys.
Why are you staying away from Sharon's last name?
Because I'm no fool.
How do you pronounce it, Sharon? Musali.
Yeah, there you go.
Exactly.
That's right. First try.
Sharon Musali and Sean Jenkins. Welcome, guys.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for joining us. So explain to the people what the King's Run is.
The King's Run is a community organization, and the overall initiative is to change the narrative and imagery of how Black men and brown men in this country are being portrayed. Overall, is to fight systemic racism, systemic injustice against us, be a continuum of a call of action. We went from anywhere from peaceful protest to being constantly involved in the social narrative of political discourse. We've had 4 initiatives so far. First initiative with the initiative of the King's Run, it was an immediate response to a Ahmaud Arbery case, a situation where we did a simple 2.3 miles. The point of reference is that in 2 days, turned around 100 runners. In that moment, those 100 runners did a video monologue about how racism impacts them. And that's just a brief topic there. Then we moved into our legacy project, which is a dear and heartfelt project to me because I'm a father of 2 amazing daughters. And it's basically about helping children voice their opinions about fighting against racism. And we had like 5 phrases that were pretty poignant, punchy, that made sure we got the attention of the entire world. We went from anywhere from 24,000 to upwards of like 27,000 impressions in 24 hours. We've had reach anywhere from United States all the way to India. That includes Russia, Ireland. We've had people submitting posts. If you check out the Legacy Project hashtag, it is sitting right there, and you can see all of the imprints of the people involved. We are being active in the Pride Initiative. You know, the gay and trans community definitely face the same issues that Black and brown community face. So we actually want to be a voice, share it, and help them push forward through this initiative. But the project that is most poignant right now is how we use our allies and their privilege to help us change the narrative here. We're completely aware, no matter how vocal we are, no matter how violent or aggressive or assertive, if our allies are not at the conversation or our allies are not participating in the narrative, we can have no change. So the next campaign will be, how do you use your privilege? And that's probably our most poignant campaign that we're gonna land with. I'm gonna let my co-founder lead into some of the more detailed matrix.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I represent the allies, right? And so in thinking about how one brings in these other communities, you know, me as a woman, shared experiences, obviously, as Black men in similar ways. I even talked about Ahmaud Arbery, you know, the idea of running and how women feel predatory behavior against them is running, drawing these through lines, making it really important to sort of get that out there as well. And so really it's just enfranchising other communities similar to my own to get involved, because without it, I think we're not going to make change, and without sort of repeated efforts over a long period of time, it's not going to happen.
Well, Sean, the King's Run, the motto is that y'all are committed to changing the false narrative around Black men in America. Why do you think there's a false narrative to begin with?
I mean, it's the easy one. We can use media, and I'm not trying to loop you guys into that.
It's fine. Speak honestly.
But I mean, it's easier. It's so easier that media uses the false narratives, right? There's always a highlight of a young man with his pants down behind his butt, right? That's the easiest social stigma they use. But they never show the gentlemen who have their pants up. They never show us with suits on. They never show us actually having a conversation as a pure higher elevation. Every single soundbite they receive is always a gentleman or woman who doesn't have the highest degree of education. So they're able to spin it in a way that makes us perceive as we lack the education and the bandwidth to actually have these conversations. So challenging that. So always imagery that we're using. Imagery is super important. Now that we can't go out because of COVID, the constant imagery, right? It's a social protest. Providing images that people have never seen on the internet, super important. Images of positive Black men, images of positive fatherhood, images of positive leadership roles versus the easy play of going to negative. Because, you know, negative sells sound bites, negative sells impressions, negative is easy to sell, positivity doesn't sell.
So how do we continue to make sure that people see not just one side of who we are, but see both sides? You know, see the gentleman And because a lot of times, like you said, people might look at one way because they don't have the education,
Right.
because they are not in the positions where they necessarily know. I talk about it all the time. I never knew anything about investing money because my parents didn't know anything about investing money. So
Right.
I had to figure it out. But now my kids will know about investing money. I didn't know about real estate. You know, I didn't know about mental health. These are the things that we honestly didn't know about because we weren't privy to. But now that we are, how do we change and make sure people understand that, nah, it's not this, it's not just because this is who it is. It's because they possibly might not have learned. They might not know. They might not be taught.
I don't mean to cut you off, but social media is the best ally in this narrative, right? So just through impressions and shares, you take a commonality or information that people don't know, and then they reshare it and they disseminate the information. Some of the most poignant posts that I've been putting up on my personal feed have been reshared, and I had some of my allies hitting me back saying, I did not know about that. So I put up the narrative about Black Wall Street being destroyed, that it was the first race riot. So many of my allies had no clue that that even happened or that was part of our history. And I said, this is our history. This is the history that we've been subject to that you don't even want to acknowledge, nor do you know. So providing information, actually providing an environment where people are, allowing an environment where people can ask me the uncomfortable question, right? It's always that moment of contention. But if you say, hey, ask me the question, I won't punch you in the face. If I don't like the answer, I'm still gonna have the conversation with you. That's a way of getting the ball rolling. But I think social media and sharing and being active in that conversation is super important.
You know, you in describing the organization, y'all made it clear that you aren't different. Why is it important to highlight that you aren't different?
Because we just use who we are. Like, so many people are armchair quarterbacks, armchair socialists, or social activists, right? They're quick to be reactive and saying, you should have done this, you should have done that. But we actually just use our voice. We stood up, we used our community, we use our social networks, and we said, hey, I want to be active in this conversation. I need to be active in this conversation. You, me, the woman down the block, they can do exactly what we're doing. We're not politicians, we're not stars, we're not sports celebrities. We're just the normal citizens of the United States who are concerned, and we want to use our voice and our platform. So we don't consider ourselves any different. On my day-to-day, I don't consider myself different. I just happen to have the bravery to push forward, the bravery to jump off the bridge.
Why did Ahmaud's case specifically like spark your desire to want to personally contribute to this change?
It was really the icing on the cake. Was the push over. You're in my New York City in the wellness and fitness space. I've always been an active supporter of everyone's cause, and being an active in everyone's cause, you know, everyone reaches out to me to say, hey, can you support this? Can you post this? When the video came out and I looked around and no one in my community was being responsive. It's like, Charlamagne, I was in the middle of a run and I started crying because I realized all the people that I've supported have been silent. And then I put a quick question. I said, hey, what if I was taken off this earth? Would you care? And then that was silent. And when that moment was silent, I was like, we got work to do. We need to be active.
Gotcha.
What's your next initiative going to entail? What is it? How will you use your privilege?
Yes, how will you use your privilege? Super important. We're going to bring in our allies, and basically the call of action. We have allies saying to us, how can I help, right? How do I use my voice to help? In the next initiative, I'm going to ask my allies, provide a resource that you can give to the Black and brown community that can provide them financially, that can provide education, that can provide political understanding, and just use their networks to help our networks, right? And then reach into that networks and make them uncomfortable by saying, you're committing to this cause. Because the allies who reach out to me and say, I help, I go, okay, I got something for you in 2 months or 2 weeks. And I'm holding your word, you're gonna commit to this financially and emotionally, because those are the two most important things. You have to be emotionally invested to this cause, and then you also have to be financially invested into this cause. Forget the word captions, buy in.
How do we get them to buy in, man? What's the info? We need to get them, make some donations or something.
Yeah, how can people who want to donate and support, how can they support you guys?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously find us out there on the internet and social media, king-run.com. All the information is there. We're linking right now for donations to Color of Change for the moment, the time being. We will start doing things for the organization itself. And then at the King's Run on Instagram, obviously you can see all of our movement there as well. I would start there, contact us, give us your email, and we're rolling from there. It's been really an amazing tool for us in developing this community.
Sharon, I knew you was going to answer the money question.
Oh, well, what do you think I'm here for?
I mean, yeah, you need a yin and yang when you have two founders, right?
Absolutely. Well, listen,
Appreciate you guys for joining us, man.
Absolutely. Good talking to y'all.